Have you ever had a great idea at work, but when you pitched to your boss or a stakeholder, they just said, let me think about it, and nothing ever happened? Or maybe you sat through a presentation where somebody was really uncertain about their own proposal, and you wondered why they were even presenting it. Hi, I'm Thomas, and getting a buy in from stakeholders isn't about being the smoothest talker in the room. It's about presenting your case so clearly and confidently that the right decision becomes obvious. Today, we're going to look at a formula for persuasive pitches that works whether you have a 2-minute pitch or a 20-minute pitch. You'll learn how to structure your message, use confident language, and make it easy for stakeholders to say yes. Let's get started. Here's why persuasive communication matters in business. Stakeholders need to understand the value before they commit to something. Your job is to make the benefits crystal clear and undeniable. If they don't see the value, they won't approve your proposal. Weak pitches waste your time and theirs. A scattered, uncertain presentation damages your credibility and loses opportunities. You might not get a second chance with this person. And confident, structured communication builds credibility and trust. Decision makers respect preparedness and clarity. They want to feel confident that you know what you're talking about. Before we look at what works well, let's talk about two mistakes people make when pitching to stakeholders. The first mistake is being too weak. Using phrases like, I think this might help, or maybe we should consider, signals uncertainty. You don't believe in your own proposal. Why should they? Hesitant language undermines your credibility before you even start. The second mistake is being too pushy, saying things like, you have to do this now or we'll fail, creates resistance. Aggressive pressure makes people defensive. Decision makers need space to evaluate. They don't need an ultimatum. The goal is to balance confidence with respect for their decision making authority. Your role is to inform and influence, not demand or dictate. Here's a formula that works really well for presentations: hook, problem, solution, benefits, and call to action. We want to start with the hook. Capture their attention immediately with a compelling or interesting fact or statistic, or a question that really makes them lean in. You have about 10 seconds to make these people care. Then we want to present the problem. Define the issue at hand clearly and specifically. Use concrete numbers and real examples so they feel the pain point. Vague problems get vague responses. And after the problem, we can present a solution. Present your proposal as the ideal answer. Be direct about what you're recommending too, and why it's the right fit for this situation. Then we can outline the benefits to your solution. Show real advantages with data, maybe some expected outcomes, maybe even the ROI. Quantify the impact whenever you can. Put numbers on it. Better results is vague, but 30% cost reduction, that's specific. And we want to end with a strong call to action. End with a really clear, specific request. Tell them exactly what decision we need and what happens next. This structure works for a 2-minute elevator pitch or a 20-minute presentation. It guides stakeholders from awareness to action. Okay, let's say we're pitching new customer service software to our leadership team. Here's what a weak pitch sounds like. I think we might want to consider this new customer service platform. It could maybe help with some of our issues. I mean, It's been working okay for other companies, I guess. If you think it's a good idea, maybe we could look into it more. This is less than ideal. First, the language is weak. Might, maybe, I guess, I think. These phrases show zero confidence. If you're not sure, why should they be? And there's no real specific problem that's identified here either. Some of our issues is really vague. What issues? And there aren't any concrete benefits or data either. Working okay doesn't really justify an investment. Leadership needs numbers, not vague hope. And finally, there's no clear ask. What decision do we actually need? The audience is left guessing about what we want them to do. This pitch wastes everybody's time and it damages credibility. Now let's look at a strong pitch for the same scenario. Our customer service response time is currently 48 hours, and we're losing clients because of it. I'm proposing we implement Service Pro, which has helped similar companies cut response time to under 6 hours. Based on our ticket volume, this will save us 20 hours per week and improve customer retention by an estimated 15%. I need your approval to run a 30-day pilot with our support team. Whoa, this is much, much better. It opens with a really specific problem. A 48-hour response time is losing clients. The pain point's immediately clear. Then it provides a clear solution, Service Pro. And it includes social proof. Similar companies have had success with this tool. Next, it puts numbers on how this is helpful. 20 hours saved weekly. That's a lot. 15% retention improvement. That's good. And the ROI is obvious here. And it ends with a really specific ask, approval for a 30-day pilot. There's no ambiguity here about what happens next at all. This is how you get a buy-in. Let's look at why word choice matters so much in persuasive speech. Weak language sounds like this. I think this might help. Maybe we should consider. This could possibly improve. I hope this will work. These phrases show uncertainty, and they don't make you look like you know what you're talking about at all before you even make your case. Strong language, on the other hand, sounds like this. This will improve. The data shows that this proven approach delivers, or this ensures. These confident phrases really demonstrate we've done our homework and we believe in our recommendation. Getting rid of those hedge words doesn't make you sound arrogant, it makes you sound credible. Confidence backed by data is persuasive. Next time you're preparing a pitch, go through your script and replace every single might, maybe, and I think with stronger, more definitive language. The most persuasive pitches use three types of appeals: logic, credibility, and emotion. First, logic. This means data and facts. Say things like, this will reduce costs by 30%, or based on industry benchmarks. Numbers and evidence appeal to rational decision making. Second is credibility. This means proof and examples. Phrases like, three competitors are already using this. We piloted this with the sales team successfully. This approach is proven in our industry. These build trust and give your pitch more credibility. And finally, emotion. This means values and impact. Saying things like, imagine if we could serve customers twice as fast. This empowers our team to focus on strategic work. We'll be leading our industry, not following. These phrases draw people in and keep them interested in what we're trying to propose. Use all three of these appeals for maximum persuasion. Logic convinces the mind, credibility builds trust, and emotion drives action. The most compelling pitches balance all three of these elements together. Let's look at some practical phrases you can use in your next stakeholder pitch. For your opening, the hook and the problem, you can try, here's the challenge we're facing. Right now, we're losing X because let me show you an opportunity we're missing. The data reveals a critical issue. These phrases immediately show that you have something important to share. And for your closing, the benefits and call to action, phrases like these are really useful. This will deliver within, I'm asking for your approval to, our next step is simple, then whatever it is. Let's move forward with our specific plan. These phrases create momentum and clarity. Practice saying them out loud until they feel natural. Then adapt them to your specific situation. Let's review what we covered today. First, be specific. Vague pitches fail every time. Use concrete numbers, clear timelines, and measurable outcomes. Replace improved things with reduce costs by 30% in Q2. And second, show confidence. Replace might, maybe, I think with will, proven, and ensures. Confident language backed by data demonstrates competence and preparation. And finally, make it easy for the person to say yes. End with one clear, actionable request. Don't make them guess what you need. Say, I need your approval to proceed with phase one by Friday. Next time you need to pitch an idea, use these ideas and phrases and see how they change your results. Let us know how it works in the comments. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more business English lessons. New videos every Wednesday. In the next video, we'll look at handling Q&A sessions and difficult questions in presentations. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.